These are the plugins that I would actually pay for. Number one, pretty much anything by Isotope. Everything they make is really great and it's restorative. So if I'm recording to tape and there's a problem, there's too much hiss, there's scratches, or just if I'm recording in the box and there was some sort of digital interference or some sort of issue, Isotope makes stuff that helps you restore audio. So it's something that didn't exist in the 80s and something that I'm sure that they wish that they had because it sometimes can be pretty magical. I also really like Isotope's Ozone, particularly like Ozone 8. Kind of used to using that one, and that's just a really great mastering tool. One thing I really like that Isotope makes is their vinyl plugin. The vinyl plugin by Isotope is free and it's really cool. I've been using it for years and it just sounds good on a lot of different sources. It has a really cool like modulation effect too that sounds cooler than a chorus. It just has it's a really cool free plugin. I love that plugin. Tal Uno makes the most amazing Juno plugin, and they also have a free bass plugin that sounds amazing. So the Tal Uno Juno plugin is like maybe $60. I would and did pay for that plugin. It's amazing. It sounds awesome. There's so many uses for it, and you can hear a shootout where you really can't tell the difference between that and a real Juno. I mean, of course, somebody who owns one is going to be able to tell the difference, but I can't tell the difference. I think it's amazing, and I highly recommend it. So check out the Tal Uno plugin and check out their bass plugin also. Analog Obsession, some of my subscribers turned me onto them, and I use the Tuba plugin on my drum bus almost all the time. It sounds so good. It's a really cool plugin. It's just really subtle, and it sounds more like the real thing than other plugins, and it's free. I would pay for that plugin. The Tuba plugin is awesome. Analog Obsession makes other stuff too. It's been hit and miss for me, but people seem to really love it. And if you have the time to mess around, I would check out Analog Obsession's plugins. Waves, love them or hate them, they do make some great plugins. Plugins that I've used over the years, I'm not using so much anymore, but Waves Tune, I got really used to Waves Tune. The SSL plugin, even just like the presets on the SSL sound amazing. Some of the CLA stuff sounds really cool. There's just so many things in that enormous package that you can go through and find awesome stuff. So Waves, you know, it's what I pay for it. I mean, at certain times, yes, Waves has got some amazing stuff in there. People love to hate them, but Waves has some diamonds in the rough, some great plugins. Easy Drummer, you probably were not expecting this, but the first time I heard Easy Drummer, I was like, whoa, what is this? How is this? I can tell that it's fake, but it sounds real. If you just have a little studio and you don't have drums and you want to record drums, don't even mess with Superior Drummer. Just Easy Drummer, once you learn how to use it, it's so simple. It can work for a lot of things, and it's just a really handy tool for demos, for stuff that's not big budget, you know, just you want to knock something out for somebody. Once you start to hear it though, you can't unhear it. So if somebody gives me something and it's Easy Drummer, I can tell it's Easy Drummer. But to people that don't know, it's like a secret that it's a mind-blowing thing. So it's a really valuable tool. I highly recommend Easy Drummer if you need something like that. You know what the most valuable piece of software I ever got was? Though it is tied to a piece of hardware, which is sucked me into an evil system, Logic, right? I mean, the barrier to entry to Logic, I think it was maybe $100 or $200, and I got it over a decade ago. I've gotten all the updates. It gets better and better all the time. It's rock solid. I can open projects from 10 years old and it still works. Of course, it's tied to expensive Apple hardware, but if you always buy the cheapest stuff, you can still get it to run on like an old ass or a free computer. So if I'm being honest, Logic it's more than just a piece of software. It's a DAW, but it has great built-in stuff. And I still use just the stock compressor exactly the way it is stock, 2-to-1 compression. I use that all the time. I like Silver Reverb. There's a lot of things. I use the phase switch on there. I use a lot of just stock Logic stuff. So I think Logic is probably the best value software that you can buy, pretty much. Back when I was doing more cinematic stuff and more like scoring stuff, LA Scoring Strings sounded really great to me. I used it all the time. That's a great plugin. It sounds legit. You can't deny it. When a plugin is useful and helpful and changes your workflow and allows you to do things faster and better, it makes sense to invest in that thing, especially if the company has a good business practice. So these are my favorite plugins that I use all the time, and if you haven't heard of them, check them out.